You ever talk to your cat like it's a tiny, furry therapist? Today was rough, buddy. And your cat just stares at you, blinks slowly, maybe knocks a pen off the table for emphasis. You probably assume that stare means absolutely nothing is happening behind those eyes. Just vibes. Maybe a little judgment. Here's the twist. Your cat is processing way more than you think. Not in a secretly plotting world domination way, although no comment, but in a genuinely fascinating, scientifically documented way. Cats can recognize your voice, read your emotional state, understand pointing gestures, and yes, they know their own name. They just choose violence, which in this case means choosing to ignore you. By the end of this video, you're going to look at your cat differently. And honestly, you might feel a little called out. Let's get into it. Cats can absolutely tell your voice apart from a stranger's. There's a well-known study out of Japan where researchers played recordings of different people, strangers and the cat's actual owner, calling the cat's name. The cats reacted differently to the owner's voice. Ears moved, pupils shifted, heads turned slightly. Small, subtle signs, but real ones. Here's the part that stings a little. The cats recognized the voice just fine. They just didn't feel like responding. Researchers call this something close to a lack of motivation to respond, which is basically the scientific way of saying, I heard you. I simply don't care right now. So the next time your cat ignores you, calling its name from across the house, that's not confusion, that's a decision. A very deliberate, slow blink, tail flick decision. Dogs, for comparison, evolved alongside us for thousands of years specifically to work with humans, herding, guarding, fetching things we're apparently too lazy to pick up ourselves. Cats mostly domesticated themselves by hanging around grain stores to eat rodents. Nobody trained them to care about our approval, and it shows. This next part might genuinely surprise you. Cats are pretty good at picking up on human emotional states. There's research showing cats behave differently around owners who are smiling versus owners who look tense or distressed. In one well-known study, cats were more likely to approach and stay close to their owner when the owner was smiling, and more likely to avoid them or act cautious when the owner displayed a frowning or negative expression. This is called social referencing, basically using someone else's emotional reaction to figure out how to feel about a situation. Human toddlers do this constantly. If a baby sees something new, like a weird toy, they'll glance at their parent's face to gauge whether it's safe or scary. Turns out cats do a version of this too. Some studies suggest cats will look toward their owner's face when something unfamiliar or slightly alarming happens, like a strange noise or a new object in the room. Almost checking in like, hey, are we in danger or is this fine? So when you're having a rough day and your cat suddenly appears and just sits near you, quietly, not really doing anything demanding, that's probably not a coincidence. That might be your cat clocking your mood and choosing to show up anyway. Doesn't fix the emotional damage of them ignoring you 5 minutes later for tuna. But hey, it's something. Here's a genuinely underrated fact. Cats can understand human pointing gestures. This sounds simple, but it's actually a big deal in animal cognition research. Understanding a pointing gesture means understanding that another creature has intentions, and that those intentions are being communicated through a gesture rather than through direct action. It requires a level of social intelligence that a lot of animals just don't have. Even some primates struggle with it. In controlled experiments, when researchers pointed at one of two containers, cats picked the correct one at a rate way better than random chance, comparable to dogs in some studies, which is honestly a plot twist nobody saw coming considering dogs have had thousands of years of selective breeding specifically for cooperating with humans. Cats never got that breeding pressure. Nobody was out here selectively breeding cats for obedience. And yet they still picked up on this skill. Likely because reading human cues was simply useful for survival. Humans control the food, the doors, and the good sunny spots on the couch. So if you've ever pointed at your cat's food bowl and it looked at your finger, and then somehow still meowed at you expectantly, like you personally hid the food from it, that's not stupidity. It understood exactly what you meant. It's just making you work for it. Here's a genuinely underrated fact. Cats can understand human pointing gestures. This sounds simple, but it's actually a big deal in animal cognition research. Understanding a pointing gesture means understanding that another creature has intentions, and that those intentions are being communicated through a gesture rather than through direct action. It requires a level of social intelligence that a lot of animals just don't have. Even some primates struggle with it. In controlled experiments, when researchers pointed at one of two containers, cats picked the correct one at a rate way better than random chance, comparable to dogs in some studies, which is honestly a plot twist nobody saw coming considering dogs have had thousands of years of selective breeding specifically for cooperating with humans. Cats never got that breeding pressure. Nobody was out here selectively breeding cats for obedience. And yet they still picked up on this skill. Likely because reading human cues was simply useful for survival. Humans control the food, the doors, and the good sunny spots on the couch. So if you've ever pointed at your cat's food bowl and it looked at your finger, and then somehow still meowed at you expectantly, like you personally hid the food from it, that's not stupidity. It understood exactly what you meant. It's just making you work for it. Cats can form actual attachment bonds with their owners, similar in structure to how human infants bond with caregivers. Researchers used something called the secure base test, originally designed to study attachment in human babies. The setup: a cat and its owner are placed in an unfamiliar room. The owner leaves briefly, then returns. Researchers observe how the cat reacts. In a well-known 2019 study, the majority of cats tested showed what's called a secure attachment pattern, meaning when the owner left, the cat showed mild signs of stress, but when the owner came back, the cat calmed down relatively quickly and used the owner as a kind of safe base to explore the unfamiliar space from. That percentage of securely attached cats was actually strikingly similar to the percentage found in human infant studies, and interestingly, comparable to attachment patterns seen in dogs too. Translation: your cat might genuinely see you as a secure base, a safe home point it returns to when the world feels a little too weird. Which is objectively sweet and also deeply ironic, considering this is the same animal that will absolutely sprint away from you in terror because you rearranged a chair. So if cats are this cognitively capable, why do so many people think cats are cold or unreadable? Simple. Cats didn't evolve their communication style for us. Dogs are famous for exaggerated, easy-to-read signals, wagging tails, panting smiles, full-body wiggles. That's partly a product of thousands of years of humans selectively breeding dogs to be expressive and readable because we liked it. Cats, on the other hand, evolved their body language for solitary hunting and territory management. A lot of cat communication is subtle on purpose. Small ear rotations, tail tip twitches, slow blinks, whisker position. It's not that the signals aren't there. It's that they're quieter, and most humans were never taught to notice them. Here's a fun one. That slow blink cats do? Some researchers genuinely believe it functions as something like a cat smile, a sign of relaxation and trust. In one study, cats were more likely to slow blink back at humans who slow blinked at them first, and were also more likely to approach a stranger who slow blinked compared to one who kept a neutral stare. So next time your cat gives you that long, sleepy half blink from across the room, That might genuinely be the closest thing to your cat saying, "I trust you, please don't ruin this. Let's clear something up." Because I promised we'd get into this. The whole cats are just dumb and don't understand basic commands stereotype is mostly wrong. Cats absolutely can be trained to respond to commands, learn their names, and follow verbal or gestural cues. The difference between cats and dogs isn't intelligence, it's motivation structure. Dogs are wired to find social approval from humans intrinsically rewarding. A lot of cats simply aren't wired that way by default. Food, safety, and personal comfort tend to rank higher on the priority list than making you happy. This means training a cat is entirely possible. It just usually requires different tools, high-value treats, consistency, and patience, rather than praise alone. Professional cat trainers exist. Service cats exist. Cats have been trained to do agility courses, use toilets, and respond to targeted commands. So the truth isn't, cats don't understand you. The more accurate version is, cats understand you just fine and have simply run a cost-benefit analysis and determined that getting up right now is not worth it. So what do you actually do with all this information? First, your cat is almost certainly listening more than it lets on. Talking to your cat, using a consistent tone for good things like feeding time, and using a calm voice during stressful situations like vet visits genuinely does something. It's not just noise to them. Second, those slow blinks matter. Try it. Look at your cat, relax your face, and blink slowly, then look away. A lot of cat owners report their cats blinking back, or even approaching, after doing this consistently. Third, pay attention to when your cat checks in on you. If it appears during a stressful moment and just sits nearby, that's not nothing. That's your weird, aloof little roommate quietly doing an emotional support shift in the only language it knows how to speak. Cats aren't unreadable. They're just fluent in a much quieter language than we're used to. So the next time your cat gives you that classic blank stare after you've poured your heart out to it, just know, it heard you. It probably understood the tone, maybe even picked up on your mood. It just decided that whatever's happening in its own head right now takes priority. And honestly, fair. If this changed the way you look at your cat, even a little, let me know in the comments. Has your cat ever checked in on you during a bad day? Or given you that slow blink? I want to hear about it. Subscribe for more of these deep dives into what's actually going on inside your pet's head. Next up, we're breaking down whether your cat actually likes you or is just really good at pretending for treats. See you in the next one.